Welcome. So, today, we're going to break down the playbook for one of the most powerful business models out there, the platform. We're going to dive into how giants like Amazon or Cocoa get off the ground, solve their biggest startup problem, and then grow into these massive ecosystems we use every day.
Okay, let's start with a little bit of a puzzle. You look at these three things: a gaming world like Roblox, a huge online store like Coupang, and, well, a good old-fashioned newspaper. I mean, on the surface, they seem like they're from completely different planets, right? One's for playing, one's for shopping, and one's for reading the news. What could possibly connect them?
Well, it turns out they all have a secret identity. They are all platforms. A platform's number one job is to be a matchmaker. It connects different groups of people. Think about it. Roblox connects you, the player, with game developers. Coupon connects buyers with sellers. And yep, even a newspaper connects its readers with all those advertisers.
So, let's say you want to build the next great platform. You're going to immediately slam into the biggest, most frustrating wall imaginable. It's this classic paradox that just stops so many great ideas dead in their tracks.
Okay, picture this. You've built a brand new online marketplace. The website is beautiful, it works perfectly, but you can't get anyone to buy anything. Why? Because there's nothing for sale.
And then, when you go talk to sellers, they say, "Why should we list our products here? There are no customers." You see? You're totally stuck. This is the infamous chicken and egg problem. You need buyers to get sellers, but you need sellers to get buyers. So how in the world do you even begin?
So how do the successful platforms actually crack this code? Well, here's the secret. They don't try to get everybody on board at the same time. No way. Instead, they use a really clever, focused playbook to get that flywheel spinning.
There are really 3 proven strategies to break this cycle and get to what's called critical mass. That's the magic moment where you have enough users on one side to naturally start pulling in users on the other side. You can either conquer one side first, you can create a brand new market, or you can replace an old clunky one. Let's look at each. All right, first up is the divide and conquer strategy. KakaoTalk is the perfect example. They didn't launch as a giant platform. It started as one simple thing, a really useful and totally free messaging app. They focused only on us, the users, and built this huge, loyal audience. It was only after they had millions of us hooked that they opened the doors and invited game developers and shops to the party.
The second strategy? You basically invent a market that didn't exist before. Seriously, think about Airbnb. Before they came along, was the idea of renting a stranger's spare bedroom for your vacation a normal thing? Not at all. Airbnb had to build the entire system of trust, payments, and reviews to make that brand new type of connection even possible.
And the third strategy is to find an old, inefficient way of doing things and just make it 10 times better online. Just think about finding an apartment before platforms like Zillow or Jikbong existed. It was all newspaper ads, driving around for hours. It was a pain. These platforms took that whole process and made it incredibly easy.
Okay, so you did it. You solved the chicken and egg problem, and your platform actually has users. Fantastic. Now you've got the next big question. How do you make money without scaring one of those groups away?
And here's where it gets really interesting. The answer isn't to just charge everyone the same. The smartest platforms use something called asymmetric pricing. They make a very strategic choice: who gets a really good deal and who pays the bills. This is how they pour gasoline on the fire.
Let's just walk through how this works, because it's everywhere. Think about your credit card. You, the user, you pay absolutely nothing to swipe that card. You are the subsidy side. But the store? Oh, they're paying a fee on every transaction. They're the money side. It makes total sense, because the card company needs millions of us to even have a card before any store will bother to accept it. Same thing with Airbnb. They charge guests a much bigger fee than hosts, because without hosts listing their homes, there is no Airbnb.
So it really just boils down to 2 simple rules when you're deciding who gets the discount. First, you subsidize the group that you absolutely need to get the whole thing started. And second, you subsidize the group that is the most sensitive to price, the ones who are most likely to leave if you charge them too much.
So getting your platform launched with the right pricing, that's just the beginning. The real secret to building a dominant platform isn't about that one brilliant idea at the start. It's a long strategic process of growth.
You know, we tend to think of these companies as these overnight successes, but that's a total myth. They don't just spring into existence fully formed. The real key here isn't one big revolution. It's a slow, steady process of evolution.
TMAP is a perfect example of this. It started back in 2002 as just one thing, a navigation app on your phone. But once it had a massive base of drivers using that app every day, it started to change. It layered on new services for those exact same users.
designated drivers, parking, car rentals, and now even EV charging. It went from a simple tool to a whole mobility ecosystem. And this evolution usually follows a predictable pattern. First, you get horizontal expansion. That's just adding more stuff for the users you already have. Think Amazon selling electronics after it mastered books. Then, there's vertical expansion, where you take over more of the process, like when Amazon built its own warehouses and delivery network. And finally, the biggest step, platform transformation. That's when you bring in a whole new group, like when Amazon invited other sellers onto its site, turning from a store into a true marketplace. So the key thing to take away here is that building a platform is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It starts with a really clear strategy to solve that chicken and egg problem, it continues with smart pricing to fuel the engine, and then it requires this long-term vision to evolve from a single service into an entire ecosystem.
And that leaves us with a final thought, and it's a pretty interesting one. We've just gone through the playbook that built the giants of today. But as artificial intelligence gets powerful enough to create hyper-personalized services for us, could a new startup use AI to solve that chicken and egg problem faster than ever before? Could it create a whole new playbook for the next generation of platforms?